Deception. Killers of the Flower Moon is a crime drama that came out just a bit ago, and I think it's time that I gave my 2 cents on the movie. This movie, to say the least, is fantastic. Everything from the casting to the set designs, the editing, and the direction are all on full display in Scorsese's latest hit. I've gone to see this movie a couple of times now, and it still sits really highly in my memory. The thing that just jumped out to me the most is the pacing. For a 3.5-hour movie, it has surprised me both times how quickly the flow of this story moves and how I was stunned at how much ground is actually covered. Without spoiling anything, I want to give a quick synopsis. So the movie opens up with us meeting Ernest, the protagonist. We learn that he was overseas during the war as a cook for the troops. After sustaining a gut injury, he was sent home. So choosing to come and stay with his uncle, we get to explore the Osage, where our story takes place. The small region in Oklahoma that doesn't seem too intriguing on the surface, but it's the rich amounts of oil that reside on the land that caused its popularity. Because it was the indigenous who founded the land, only certain families had access to the oil, and they had a say on what was done with it. Naturally, the white population of America had taken interest in this land of opportunity, which is where we meet Ernest's uncle, an elderly man who had been living here for quite a while and slowly gaining the people's trust through these acts of deception. This is the moment where I'd like to mention that Robert De Niro is phenomenal in this film. His character is written so well, and as a distinguished businessman who on the surface seems caring and noble, but as the story progresses, we start to understand who he really is and what he's willing to do. It's all hit home by a great performance. Now, upon arrival, Ernest is in search of a job. He ends up becoming a chauffeur, with his first and only client being Molly. Molly is a wealthy Osage woman, a part of one of the major families. At first we're given the impression that Molly and Ernest have an actual connection, but that's flipped on its head when he finds out who she really is and the family that she comes from. The rest of the film follows these two as unexplained murderers keep happening throughout the Osage, eventually leading to the FBI investigation of it. A big reason why I love the flow of this film is because we continue to follow our main characters through multiple stages of their life, the entire time never feeling like the story is dragging. This movie is honestly one of those rare cases where I cannot see a single scene being taken out that services the story. Scorsese's writing truly does shine through, as you can feel the pure empathy he has for this book and this story. It being a true story makes the events in this film so much more heartbreaking, which eventually leads to the final monologue in this film, which I sincerely believe is a masterclass in filmmaking. I don't want to spoil it because it really deserves to be watched with your own eyes, so do with that what you will. Despite the drama, I think this movie has a lot of humor in it, and there's a lot of moments where I found myself laughing out loud at some of these jokes. Even the supporting cast doesn't have a weak link. Each person is written well and intriguing from the last, which gets highlighted from the great performances. The soundtrack, despite not being a big factor, is still good. I do like the use of music and the sound effects throughout. Set design, like I said before, is on point. I love the wardrobe and the sheer atmosphere of the Osage. This place really does feel like a world of the past, and that credit goes to the location scouting and the entire crew. I want more of this, people, not this. The last thing I'd like to mention is the direction. This man has done it time and time again, but he truly made this movie click. The script, to the direction of his actors, and to the editing room, this movie is 100% Scorsese. From the hard cuts, to the flashbacks, to the deadpan humor moments. I don't know how this old-ass man keeps cooking, but I ain't about to stop him. Lily Gladstone is another piece of this story that deserves a lot of praise. I think she's the standout of this story. Molly is such a powerful and nuanced character who represents the heartache of these tragedies and the soul of what this movie is. She carries such a burden that you can't help but feel empathy for her. Once again, this all leads to a brilliant final monologue. Overall, this is still my pick for Best Picture this year, but I have no doubts that Best Director will go to Scorsese. This movie is just too flawless from both ends of the board that I can't see it going to anyone else. If you haven't seen it yet, then please take the time. I promise you won't be disappointed. So overall, I give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. It is truly a one-of-a-kind film that I believe will stand the test of time.